Hello, wonderful people. Welcome back to another Vinyasa practice. My name is Sarah. Today we are going to be getting upside down. So practicing some inversions like headstand or handstand. But it's important to remember that inversions don't necessarily just need to be these poses. It can be as simple as a forward fold or a downward facing dog. Literally anything where the head is below the heart. So you can kind of run with this practice, take it where you want to go today, although it is going to be quite strong. So if you're not vibing that, then maybe another class will be better for you. But inversions are really good, not only physically, but also in the more energetic space, because it encourages a sense of flipping perspective and kind of shifting things around. And I think within the yoga asana practice, when we ask ourselves to move in these ways of motion that we don't usually practice off the mat, it means that our energetic space, our mind, is also adaptable, is also flexible, and is able to move in different directions compared to if we were just, I don't know, walking, sitting, standing, lying down, which is, I think, it's just such a cool part of the yoga practice and has impacted how I view the world and my practice of yoga and life off the mat. Anyway, let's get started in a child's pose. So bring your knees together or take the knees out wide. It's totally up to you. Sink your hips back over your heels. Reach your arms forward. Take a deep breath in. Fill up the ribs. Feel it expand towards the side of your legs and up to the sky. And as you exhale, just soften the body down to the ground. And in this practice today, see if you can cultivate this feeling of fun, of play, of creativity, of not necessarily needing to do this for a particular purpose other than just being in the body, being with yourself. And sometimes that's scary, but the more that we practice it, the more that we understand that this is a really freeing space to be in. Creating shapes, creating movements in our body that feel good and are fun. Continue breathing, and if you notice your mind has drifted away from your mat, just encourage your mind to come back to the breath. And that's not just now, but it's at any point in this practice today. Before we begin to move, let's take about 5 more breaths. You might even start to constrict the back of the throat, finding Ujjayi Pranayama. It's slightly easier to practice this on the exhale to begin with, but we also want to practice it on that inhalation as well. And it should make a sound like a wave, and it allows us to slow the breath down a little bit more and helps us to stay in control of our practice. Take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Walk your hands back to your knees. Come up into a kneeling position. Clasp your hands together so you're interlacing the fingertips, and then start to roll your hands like a wave. So we are going to be playing on our hands a little bit today, so we just want to make sure that they are warm, the fingers, the wrists, the forearms are warm, and then switching directions of the wave. This is quite a challenging one to get if this is one of your first times doing it. So if you're struggling a little bit to figure out what it feels like in your body, don't worry, it's a little bit challenging. And keep the interlace of the fingertips, but bring the hands behind the head so that the thumbs kind of touch the neck. Breathe in as you open the elbows wide, squeeze the shoulder blades down the spine. As you exhale, pull the elbows towards each other around to the upper back. Breathe in to open. Exhale to round. Breathe in to open this time. Exhale, right elbow towards the right side of the mat. So you're creating length through the left side body. You might even shift the hips towards the left a little bit more to help open through the ribs. Inhale, come back through center. As you exhale, try the other side. So left elbow comes to the side. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades down and then pulling the elbows back without overarching through the spine. One more time each side. Breathe and come back through center. Exhale to the right. Inhale through back through center. Exhale to the left. Come back through center, find your way into a tabletop position. Straight away from here, take a big step forward with both hands. Take a deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, drop the heart space down to the ground, puppy pose. So your hips are over your knees in this position. Forehead might ground down to the mat. If you did have quite a bit of space to open and your chest is almost at the ground, you could lift the eye gaze in between your hands, maybe the chin grazes on the ground. Feel the shoulder blades widen towards the edges of the mat. Can you press your hands into the ground, the fingertips, the knuckles, the palms? Let's take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Keep the elbows on the ground, but start to slide yourself forward. Bring the hands by the ribs. Breathe in, baby cobra. A little press through the hands here. Engage through the back, shoulders roll back. As you exhale, lower yourself down. Push yourself back into your child's pose. We're going to strike our cobra here, so a little bit more fluid. Look forward. Breathe in as you scoop your chest down and then through, baby cobra. Exhale, push up onto your knees. Shift your hips back. Let's try that again. Breathe in, look forward. If you're feeling a little bit more open, you could start to lengthen the arms a bit more. Exhale, shift it back. Breathe in, shift forward, engage the glutes, roll the shoulders down. Exhale, shift you back. If you want a little bit more, tuck onto the toes, lift your hips up a little bit. It's going to be the same thing, but you're going to keep the knees off the ground. So breathing in, elbows come in, find your way into a cobra, maybe keeping the toes still tucked to the back. Exhale, shift it back, kind of like a downward facing dog, but with a little bit more of a bent leg. Look forward again, broaden the shoulder blades. Breathe in, shoot forward. Push up, exhale, shift back. Let's try two more. Breathe in, shoot forward. Squeeze the glutes, exhale, shift back. One more, breathe in. This time to hold, maybe in cobra, maybe an upward facing dog. If you've got your toes tucked, just untuck them here. Hold here for a few more breaths, arms are long. Broaden the collarbones, scoop the heart space through. You can always bring the knees down at any point. Take one more deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, send it up and back. Downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Walk your feet out here, dropping one heel down, dropping the other heel down. And with I should say that this is one of our first inversions of the day, downward facing dog. And this is where you might be today. This is where you might just want to stay and not take anything more. But if you were to practice handstand or headstand, we want to lengthen through the back of the legs a little bit. The hamstrings and the calves. When you're ready, start to walk yourself to your hands. Land your feet about hip width distance, although you can bring your big toes together, heels slightly apart if you would like. Fold forward on your exhale, Uttanasana. A little tuck in of the chin. Sometimes I like to bounce up and down a little bit. And then find a moment of stillness. Reach the hands to the shins, breathe in as you lift halfway, lengthen the crown of the head forward. As you exhale, ripple it back down, forward fold. Inhale, lift the arms above the head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands by the sides, Tadasana. Soften the shoulders down, palms are facing forward. We're going to flow through a few rounds of our Surya Namaskar A just to lift the energy a little bit more. Breathe in, lift the arms above the head. Exhale, bend your knees, fold forward. Hands to shins, breathe in, lift halfway. Exhale, hands down, step yourself back into plank chaturanga, maybe lowering to the ground or halfway. Breathe in, cobra or upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, sending it back. Downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take a deep breath in through the nose, pressing through the knuckles, through the fingertips and the palms. As you exhale, shift your hips up a little bit higher. Push your hips to the back of the mat. Breathe in to walk yourself forward to your hands. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, send it back down. Lift all the way up. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, Tadasana, hands by the sides. Breathe in, lift. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, hands down, step yourself back into plank, chaturanga. Inhale, pull through. Exhale, shift it up and back, downward facing dog. Hold here for another breath. You can either walk forward or bend your knees, look forward, take a deep breath in. Start to hop in between the hands, maybe. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, ripple it back down. Breathe all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, hands by the sides. Let's go 2 more rounds. We'll add on a little bit. Breathe in. Exhale. Maybe fingertips in line with your toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. You can step or hop back through your chaturanga. Once you get into your chaturanga, hold here. You can always bring the knees down. Press up to high plank. Breathe in. Exhale, lower half. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, lower half. Let's go 3 more. Inhale, press up. Exhale, lower half. Inhale, press up. Exhale, lower half. 1 more. Breathe in, press up. Exhale, lower half. I'm going to pull through. Breathe in. Woo. That's spicy. Exhale, shift it back. Maybe child's pose, maybe downward facing dog. We'll hold here for another breath. Want to make sure that we're really warm through the upper body, the wrists, the forearms, the shoulders. Breathe in, bend your legs, look forward. Maybe you walk, maybe you hop in between your hands. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold again. Lift all the way up, breathe in. Exhale, hands by the sides, Tadasana. Breathe and lift. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, hands down, step it back or hop back, chaturanga. We'll only do 3. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower half. Inhale, lift, keep the core strong. Exhale, lower half. Try not to move the spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower half. Inhale, pull through, push through the fingertips, through the knuckles, through the hands, shoulders roll back. Exhale, step it back. Downward facing dog or child's pose. Hold here for an extra breath. The only way to get better at them is just to do them. Sorry about it. Use your next breath in, either walking forward or bending your knees, taking a little hop. Exhale, fold. You're trying to bring weight into your fingertips and your hands there. Halfway lift. Adho Uttanasana. Exhale, send it down again. Lift all the way up, breathe in. Exhale, hands by the sides. Okay, I'm just going to switch my mic. But we're going to head back to downward facing dog. If you would like to add on anything along the way, maybe a crow pose or something, go for it. If you'd like to head straight back down, maybe if you'd like to stop in a child's pose along the way, you can also do that. If you are going for crow pose, kakasana, hands come about shoulder width distance, spread the fingertips wide, kind of first arm balance of the day. Elbows kind of come back as you bring the back of the knees towards the back of the elbows, and you might stay with the feet on the ground, or maybe one foot lifts up to the glutes, maybe the other foot lifts up. You want to lift up through the upper back as well. Make sure you're looking underneath your head. It's one of the most common mistakes I see people do, is that they're trying to look towards their feet. It's just going to help you fall over more. Or if you are maybe Vinyasa, or you can send it straight back, it's up to you. Just for a moment, bring the knees down to the ground, sit down on your heels, just take out the wrists. And feel free to stay here, or we can find an expression of Ustrasana, camel pose. So come up onto your knees. We're gonna do this a couple of times in our practice today. You can start with your hands behind your back. We will have 2 more opportunities, so we do have time here to practice. Hands could become behind the back as you push your hips forward, squeezing shoulder blades down. You want to tuck the elbows in. If you did feel like a little bit more, you could bring one hand down, maybe one hand up, or you could bring 2 hands down. Make sure you can breathe. Creating some openness through the front line of the body, through the shoulders. As you're ready for it, lower the hips down. Find your way into a plank position. So hands under the shoulders. Now you can be on your toes here, at any point come down to the knees, but we're going to pedal out the knees here. Dropping one knee down, other knee down. So imagining like you're walking out your dog, but you're just tapping the knees down in your plank. If you felt like more, you could walk your knees up a little bit higher towards the hands. And eventually, you might be tapping the knees almost in line with the wrists. Okay, this is going to make it a little bit more challenging for the core, but we want it to switch on when we enter any inversions. Let's go 3 more. The next time your right knee has tapped down, hold. Breathe in, 3-legged dog. Right leg kicks up. As you exhale, bend the right knee, bring the foot close to the hips. And just open your hips enough, almost like you're heading to wild thing, but you're not. And you might stay with the right palm on the ground, or you could lift up to right fingertips. Maybe you stay here, maybe the right hand hovers off the ground for a moment. If you want to play with your balance even more, you could reach your right hand down towards your right ankle. And maybe just hold, you don't have to find a kick. Whew. Good challenge. Hold here for 1 more breath. I promise we'll get off the hand soon. Breathe in, plant the hand down, roll forward, right knee to nose. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands, hop the left foot forward a little bit, plant the heel down. Hands come to the shins, walk yourself up so you're about halfway in Parsvottanasana. You can stay with the hands on the shin for more support, or interlace your fingertips behind your head just like we did before. Squeeze the elbows towards the sky. Lengthen the spine so you're pulling the crown of the head forward. You're pushing your hips back, creating length through the right leg, as well as activating through the core and the back. Hold here for 1 more breath. You can always release the hands down at any point. Start to shift your weight into your right foot, standing splits. Left toes lift high. You can always keep the hands behind the head for more of a challenge, or fingertips can come down to the ground. You want to think left hip in line with the right, okay? Left leg is longer here. 1 more breath. Breathe in, roll yourself up to standing, stork pose, left knee to chest. As you exhale, cross the right hand around the left thigh, reach the left hand back. If you felt like more, right hand can come around the left foot as you extend it out long. You can stay here. If you felt like more, left fingertips behind the head again. Breathe in as you draw yourself back through center, reach the left elbow forward. As you exhale, twist the left elbow behind you, twist the heart to the left. Breathe in, come back through center. Exhale, twist to the left. Keep lifting out of the waist. 1 more. Kick the left heel away. Breathe in. Exhale, twist. Shoulders are down. Very gently release the left foot. Control as you step back to Skandasana. Left toes turn to the left corner of the mat. Take a breath in through the nose. As you exhale, sink your hips down towards your left heel. Right toes lift high. Push your left elbow into your left leg. Turn to the back of the mat. Right hand plants down. Breathe in, twisted lunge. Left hand reaches high. Exhale to hold. Breathe in as your left hand comes down to the ground. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Couple of different options for where we go next. First one is finding those striking cobras on the knees from child's pose. Second is finding striking cobra from downward facing dog. Third option is dolphin pose, where you're going to bend your knees a little bit more and bring elbows down to the ground so they're about parallel with each other. You want to push through the hands, drawing the chest back towards the thighs. You're going to do the same thing as your downward facing dog, but you're going to lift the elbows off in the process. So look forward, breathe in as you scoop your way forward into cobra, keeping the toes tucked at the back. As you exhale, maybe down dog, maybe child's pose, maybe dolphin with the elbows down. Keep looking forward, bend the knees, lift the hips. Breathe in, scoop through, push through the hands. Exhale, send it back. Let's go 3 more. Breathe in, scoop through. Exhale, send it back. Inhale through. Exhale, send it back. 1 more, and then we're going to hold, breathe in. Hold here. If you've got your toes tucked like me, just untuck them, cobra or upward facing dog. Push the hands into the ground, broaden through the collarbones. Engage the glutes, take another breath in. Let's all bring the knees down to the ground, child's pose, hips towards the heels. Maybe you stay here, or you can walk your hands back towards your knees. Finding Ustrasana, camel pose, second time around. So maybe hands come to the hips again. Maybe you go for a half or a full. If you felt like a bit of spice, a little bit more of a challenge, you can go for an active camel where the hands are at the chest. You're gonna engage the glutes as you push your hips forward. You're thinking about lifting your heart up into your thumbs as you lean back a little bit. Okay, you want to activate a lot through the back body to help support the spine, so we're not just dumping into the lower back. And wherever you are, hold here for 1 more breath. Lower the hips down towards the heels. Reach your hands out forward. And as we're ready for it, we're going to come back into our plank position. So remember, you can hold on your knees, or if you're on your toes, start to tap the knees down. 1 at a time. And maybe you stay here. Maybe you start to walk the knees up a little bit higher. You want to keep the shoulders over the rest. Maybe the knees pull up so far that it's almost touching in line with your wrists. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Oh, this is challenging. You can always come back to down dog for a little rest. Let's go 3 more. Next time your left knee is out, hold. Breathe in 3-legged dog, left toes lift high. Exhale, bend to the left knee, bring the foot close to the glutes. You might stay here. You might start to open the hips a little bit more, so the left hip is stacked on top of the right. Left palm could come up so you're on your fingertips. Another option is to lift the whole of the hand off the ground. If you felt like even more space, you could reach it back towards your left ankle. And maybe find a little bit of a kick. Find your focus, find your breath. And then release the left hand to the ground. Breathe in, start to roll forward, left knee to nose. As you exhale, step the left foot in between the hands, hop the right foot forward a little bit, press the heel down, toes are out slightly. Lift your hands up onto your shin. Squeeze your shoulder blades down, maybe you stay here, maybe the hands come behind the head. If you are taking this option, you really have to make sure that you're not curving through the back here. We want to lift up, keeping that halfway position, squeezing the elbows towards the sky. Pulling the left hip back, right hip forward. 1 more breath. Slowly start to shift your weight into your left foot, standing splits. Breathe in, right toes sweep high. Hands could stay behind the head for more of a balance challenge. You could bring the fingertips down to the ground if you felt like a little bit more range of motion through your legs. 1 more breath. Breathe in, stork pose, lift all the way up to standing. Right knee lifts. As you exhale, left hand around the right thigh. As you reach your right hand back. If you felt like more, left hand can come around the outside of the right foot as you kick away. 1 more option. Right hand comes behind the head as you peel the elbow wide. Breathe in as you rotate back through center, right elbow forward. As you exhale, open the right elbow back up. 2 more, breathe in. Exhale, rotate the ribs, rotate the chest. 1 more. So really good for spine articulation, as well as lengthening through the legs, strengthening through them as well. Slow step back to Skandasana. Right leg slowly steps back. Turn your right toes to the corner of the mat. Breathe in. Start to bend your right knee as you drop your hips towards your right heel. Exhale to hold. Right elbow presses into the right thigh. Turn to the front, left hand plants down. Breathe in, right hand lifts, twisted lunge. Exhale to hold. Right hand comes down, breathe in. Start to send back, downward facing dog. Exhale. Same thing as we did before. Maybe child's pose, maybe down dog if you felt like more dolphin pose. Dolphin pose is probably one of the best positions to be in, to work in, if you're wanting to work up to headstand or Pinchamayurasana, forearm stand, because it's so good for opening through the shoulders. Start to look forward. Breathe in. We're going to scoop the chest down and through into a variation of cobra. Engage the glutes. Exhale, send it back. Maybe dolphin, maybe downward facing dog. Breathe in, scoop through. Through a chaturanga. Exhale, send it back. Breathe in, tap the elbows down, maybe. Scoop through. Exhale back. Maybe two more. This time when you get to cobra, hold. Maybe you tuck onto the toes again, or untuck the toes so you're pointing the toes. Press your whole hand down into the ground. Engage through the quadriceps, lift the knees up to the thighs. And then lower your knees down, child's pose. Ooh. Heart rate is racing. Camel, round 3. Maybe you stay on the ground or you can walk back. Any variation of camel that feels good for you. And then when you're ready, just finding your way out. So we're going to play with a little bit of headstand, Salambashushasana. If this doesn't vibe with you today, you could find yourself in a forward fold or a child's pose or anything that feels good. If you were wanting to practice, what you're going to do is bring your elbows down to the ground. Once you're there, reach to opposite elbows with your hands. Once you've got that position, bring your hands out in front. So you should be making a triangle here. Interlace the fingertips. You want to bring your head down so that the hands clasp onto the back of the head. The flat part of the head should be down on the ground. You really want to meet the hand to the head because that's what's going to help with the counterbalance. From here, you're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees off the ground, and you want to keep walking yourself forward as far forward as possible to keep the hips, get the hips over the shoulders. From here, don't kick up. Okay, that's one of the biggest mistakes because you're going to roll over. You want to gradually tuck one knee into the chest, come high into the other toes. You're going to bring the other knee up into the chest and find yourself in a tuck. Lift the shoulders away from the ears here. Press the hands into the head and the head back into the hands. From here, you can go one leg up. By the way, if you already know how to do headstand, you can go into that now. Maybe the other leg goes up. Engage in the glutes. Squeezing your feet together. A little tuck in of the ribs as well. And then when you're ready to come down, you can come back through your tuck, or you can just simply split the legs. Landing one foot down, the other foot down. Please feel free to pause this video if you wanted more time. Otherwise, you can come back into child's pose for a moment. Maybe coming back into a kneeling position, letting the spine kind of recenter, re-regulate itself. From this position, we're going to make our way into a forward fold at the front of the mat. So tuck onto the toes, lift your hips and your heels, walk forward, land your feet about hip width distance, and then bring your hands underneath your feet so that the toes move up into kind of the wrist creases. And if it doesn't quite meet there, that's okay. The hands can be out a little bit more. Bend your knees as much as you need here to help support this. Really try to push onto the hands. Relax the upper body, feeling into this shift of energy as we turn upside down. And then release the feet from underneath the hands. Roll up to standing. Take a deep breath in as you lift the arms above your head over Headstand. As you exhale, roll it back down, sweep the right toes high, standing splits. You can absolutely stay here, or we can come into some handstand hops. Hands are shoulder width distance again. Spread the fingertips wide. Come onto the left toes, maybe hop back a little bit. Bend the left knee, look in between your hands. Don't look behind you, just like we did in crow pose. You're going to take a little kick up. I thought I was going to fall over there for a second. But it might just be small to begin with, maybe like 15 centimeters off the ground. And then eventually you want to feel confident, or maybe you feel confident to try a little bit higher. Eventually you might find a little bit of balance at the top, and don't feel afraid to fall over. And if you do feel a little bit uncomfortable doing this on a mat, you can go next to a wall. Let's go one or two more. And once you're ready for it, come back into standing splits. Right foot steps back, warrior two. So hips, shoulders face the side, left knee is bent, arms are out. Sink into your hips. Breathe in as you reach your right hand towards your left hand. As you exhale, sweep your right hand down your arm, down your shoulders, reach to the back of the mat. One more time. Breathe and reach forward. Try to lean forward a little bit here. Exhale, sweep it back. Breathe in, high lunge. Pivot onto your right toes, lift the arms. As you exhale, bend your right knee, Vinyasa. Hips sink forward a little bit. Hands come to the ground. Breathe in, shift your hips back, Ardha Hanumanasana. Left toes left. Exhale, soften into this position here. Breathe in, shift forward, low lunge. Exhale, shift back. Shift forward again, hands come onto the inside of the left leg. Breathe in as you sweep your left toes around until it comes to the outer edge of your right mat. See how far away from the other foot you can get the leg. Shift your hips back a little bit, and it might feel nice to walk your hands out to the right as well. Okay, so you're creating a big curve through the left side body. Play with how far you can get your hands and your legs around, maybe sinking the hips back a little bit more. One more breath. Walk yourself back through center. Left knee to left elbow on your breath in. As you exhale, step the left foot outside the left hand. Lizard lunge. Couple of different options. If you're feeling like rest, you want to sink into it a bit more, you can always bring elbows down and keep the hands down. If you felt like a little bit more activity, still feeling a bit spicy, tuck right toes, lift the right knee off. Try get your chest low, scooping the left shoulder on the inside of the left leg. Reach your fingertips out to the side. Maybe you stay here, maybe hands lift off. One final option is to find an arm bind, taking the left hand towards the left hip, right hand around to meet it. If you do manage to get it, can you lift away from the ground? Keep the right hip pulling down. One more breath. Hands come to the ground, breathe in. As you exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in here. And a deep breath out. I'm going to do that sequence one more time on the other side. Breathe in, look forward, either walk or hop to the top of the mat. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your feet back hip width distance. Fingertips come underneath.
Pull on your hands, take the elbows wide as you draw the crown of the head down towards the ground. One more breath. Release the hands from underneath the feet. Breathe in as you lift all the way up. As you exhale, send it back down. Left toes sweep high, this time standing splits. And this is where you might stay. Otherwise, bring hands to the ground again. Hop your right toes back a little bit. Find a couple of kicks to lift you up. And you're trying to find that shift from the back of the palm to the front of the fingertips. And you, again, make sure the fingertips are really wide here because that's going to give you this kind of base of support. Let's go one or two more. Lift up of the shoulders. And coming back down, let's all step back to warrior two. Breathe in, open up to the left. Adjust your feet. Exhale to land. Bend the right knee, soften the shoulders down. Breathe in, left hand to the right, lean forward. Exhale, peel that left hand back, reach away. Almost like you're playing this tug of war. Breathe in, left hand forward. Last time, exhale, reach it back. High lunge, breathe in. Turn to the front, back toes are on the ground. Exhale, bend the back knee. Sink your hips forward, Anjaneyasana. Breathe in, hands down, Ardha Hanumanasana. Exhale, send it back forward, low lunge. Keep the hands down. One more, breathe in, shift it back. Exhale, shift it forward. Walk your right foot out, plant your hands on the inside of the right foot. Kick your right leg behind you and then keep circling until it comes to the outside of the left mat. Sink your hips back a little bit. You might move your right foot as well. And then fingertips can come to the left. One more breath. Walk yourself back. Breathe in, right knee to right elbow. Exhale, step the right foot outside the right hand. Again, if you're feeling like slowing down, dropping down, maybe you stay here. You can even walk down to elbows. If your elbows don't quite meet, maybe a block or a book is somewhere in between. If you felt like a little bit more, you could tuck left toes, lift the left knee off. Trying to scoop the right shoulder on the inside of the knee crease. And maybe you stay here or you can walk the fingertips out. Maybe they lift off the ground. Maybe the hands come around to bind. Release the hands down. Breathe in, right foot steps back to downward facing dog. Exhale to hold. Bring the knees down to the ground. This is second opportunity to play with a variation of headstand, maybe the same one that we did before. Maybe you tried tripod headstand. If you wanted to try that, wherever your elbows were at the beginning, your hands will come to that position. And then you'll bring your head down to imagine the top of the triangle. Tuck onto the toes. Walk your feet close to your elbows, and you might just start by bringing the knees to the back of the elbows, imagining finding crow pose, but on your head. From this position, you're going to lift your hips up, finding that tuck position that we did before, and then maybe one foot lifts. This is definitely a little bit more challenging to find balance, and maybe the other foot lifts off. If you did get here, feel free to stay for as long as you'd like. If you wanted to have another go at handstand, or if you know Pinchamayurasana and you were practicing that for the forearms, you can go there. If you're out like me, just swing your legs around, extend both of your feet out forward. I'm going to find Paschimottanasana. Deep breath in through the nose as you lift up tall. As you exhale, shifting your weight forward. Maybe hands to the outsides of the legs or hands to the feet. Let's take about 5 really slow, intentional breaths here. Letting the heart rate drop down. Maybe just reflecting and noticing any shifts in energy that exploring our body, moving upside down, changing perspective has done for you. Two more. Let's walk ourselves back. Head on to the back. If there are any asanas that you'd like to finish in, please feel free to go there. Maybe a twist. You can also find an inversion such as shoulder stand or halasana where the feet go up or over the head. If you are ready to find Savasana, you can also head there. Maybe that's with your legs out long, maybe the toes and the knees, maybe the hips kind of rolling around. Maybe your knees are bent with your feet wide, your knees knocking together. If you feel a bit of sensation through your spine, I'd recommend this option. Close down the eyes. Allowing any effort to wash away. We'll just be here for a couple of minutes of stillness, letting all the beauty and the benefits of our asana practice kind of settle. If you had a little bit longer, maybe you stay here in Savasana. This is such a juicy spot to be in. Allowing the body to be completely heavy here. Maybe that allows for the mind to still a little bit more. If this is where you'd like to finish your practice, just slowly make some movements. Eventually heading up into a seated position. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Maybe breathe in a little bit more. Exhale through the mouth. Clear out that energy, setting us up for a really magical, really beautiful rest of the day. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. It was so much fun, and I hope you had fun as well. If you love the practice, let me know down in the comments below, and if you wanted to hang out even more, head over to Patreon, where we can chat, we can do some behind the scenes content. There's also some longer practices as well. But either way, I hope to see you again sometime soon. Namaste.